The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Here we are, Deadites. After multiple rewrites, we're here. So, I'll state this here right quick. This is technically the same Deku from Spider Deku. However, things here are going to be a little different. This world is going to be parallel to our Spider Deku, so who knows what's really going to be different. The biggest difference to start, however, is in this universe, there's going to be a Spider-Man out there already. Namely, Miles Morales. This Miles is a full-grown adult, so I'll need to take you a few years back before we get to Deku. Miles had officially been in the game for a few years, but the road to being Brooklyn's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man was a tough one. For one thing, he was a vigilante for quite some time. Miles' life was quite average until he hit age 18. He had graduated from high school and was spending a year off to save for college. One might think that Miles would be too busy saving the day to worry about that, but one would be wrong. Miles is designated quirkless and has lived his life accordingly. Our boy, Miles Morales, was a bike courier, and a good one at that. All was going well until he got bit by a spider and crashed on his bike. The whole scene with the frothing mouth still happens and whatnot. He'd be out of it for a week. When he awoke from his week-long slumber, he was greeted with the sight of his parents and Uncle Aaron, who is still in fact the Prowler, but in this instance is a vigilante, not a crook or villain. Miles' dad, of course, is still a cop, and no, he's not an ex-agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Sleeping at the foot of his bed was his best friend turned girlfriend, Kamala Khan, who had just made hero but was given leave under the circumstances. Quite could understand how important Miles' health was to her. How long have I been out? Everyone turned. Miles, you're up. Thank goodness. It was his mother's turn to talk to Miles. At first, the police thought it was drugs, but when the spider bite on you or hand was noticed, your father and I pulled some strings to have a culture run on your bite. You were bit by a wandering spider, and by all means, you should be dead. I'm not going to question this miracle, but the doctor in me is rather intrigued with how you survived. Kamala was holding Miles' hand, something fierce. Miles would later go on to discover his quirk and come to the conclusion that the spider venom had jump-started his quirk. He got all the abilities he's supposed to have, plus the immunity to poison in any form. Miles would, of course, don the suit and do his thing. His two biggest takedowns were Tombstone and Kingpin. Tombstone took, but we all know it takes a lot to stop Wilson Fisk. Every time Kamala talked about Spider-Man, she either loved him or hated him, and Miles would make a point of telling her as soon as he could. Spider-Man infiltrated the Avengers Tower unnoticed and stopped the Hobgoblin from leaving with some dangerous tech. Okay, color me impressed, kid, but you are still a vigilante and will be going to jail. Before Patriot could get the manacles on Spider-Man, he got hit with a Venom blast and passed out. That was an open declaration of war on this branch of the Avengers as far as they were concerned. However, before they could make their move, Nick Fury, of all people. Well done, Spider-Man. You've earned that shield tech you're using. Spider-Man is an operative of S.H.I.E.L.D., and as such has been acting in its name as a hero. Everyone could see through Nick Fury's BS, but Nick presented paperwork that was backdated. They had to back off. We're all friends here. Go ahead and remove the mask. Miles was hesitant, but Kamala came to him and laid one on him, then removed the mask for him. This reveal would cause slight dissension amongst the ranks, especially towards Kamala.
Hey, he tried to tell me multiple times, and I either stopped him or didn't believe him. But when he unmasked in front of me, after stopping a purse thief, I couldn't be mad at him.
Kamala didn't reveal when she found out, but they all assumed it was recent, and they weren't wrong on that. However, she kind of always knew, as she stated. From that point on, Spider-Man was an Avenger and an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and would uphold what it means. However, eventually he discovered the symbiote, and is truly where his story begins. Or rather, this story begins. If you want to hear more about this specific Miles' adventures in this world, there might be more in store. People could ask for such a thing. If you want it, I want you to comment Miles on the comments, and I'll see about working that into the rotation. One day, a group of scientists were working on a cure to cancer, but what they found they had created was an odd synthetic life form that looked something akin to black ichor. They found that this ooze cured wounds, but at a cost. It also needed to be fueled, and the fuel it needed was deemed too great even for a superweapon project. The life form was slated to be destroyed. However, things don't always go as planned. Miles was on a security detail for this and wasn't made aware what he was guarding. There were, of course, decoys in the form of some tech that S.H.I.E.L.D. deemed far too dangerous, and that is what Miles thought he was really watching over. Hydra managed to attack the convoy, but Spider-Man thwarted them. However, the life form we know to be Venom managed to attach itself to Spider-Man. Miles was chill in comparison to Peter, but we all know the song and dance. Miles would eventually rip the thing off of it, and it washed away in the ocean, never to be seen again. Or at least, that's what he was hoping would happen. For the sake of keeping time, this was around Miles' 4th year of donning the suit, truthfully. Things tend not to work out for our heroes the way they want them to. The life form lay adrift for 10 years before it was found again by a human being. During those 10 years, it had developed cognition. There was a hatred within it, a searing venom towards the one that it had loved and was denied by.
Venom. That's a good name, considering what Miles could do.
And like that, the life form named itself Venom. However, that name was gained on its 3rd year of going from many aquatic life forms. One day, however, it attached itself to a cute little critter that washed ashore. Said critter was found by 10-year-old Izuku, who was still a frickin' genius and still quirkless. He was doing research on aquatic life and looking into ways of cleaning the ocean. What better way to do that than at the pigsty that is, well, Dagobah Beach? Izuku's deep ocean scrubber could clear the oceans of pollutants such as oils and various forms of trash. There was an AI to prevent it from disturbing life forms, however. But if a dead human body was bound per se, It would scrub its operation and retrieve the body at the very least. No pun intended. As Izuku goes further to the poor little thing, a student that's on their last legs of her study calls out, "Dr. Midoriya, don't get too close to the ocean." Izuku sighed. "Calm down, Miss Parker. I've got multiple degrees and a Nobel under my belt. I may be a child, but I'm not childish. I'm only going to get the poor thing and clean it off. It's okay, fella. I got you." Izuku wiped the little sea turtle clean, and Venom would discreetly attach itself to Izuku. It would lay dormant for a while, but one thing odd came up. It wasn't hungry. Not even a little bit. With the urge to feed quelled, Venom just lay dormant for a little while. 3 years and some change later, Venom would make itself known to Izuku while he was working on his enhanced spider project.
Spiders, huh? Guess I should call you the Spider-Man. Huh, Izuku?
How many times do I have to tell you to stop talking to me? Only madmen hear voices in their head when there are none. And that I am not.
What's the matter, Izuku? Too scared to admit that I'm real? Poindexter.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. "Do not call me a Poindexter!" It's a good thing May was gone, or that would have been hard to explain. May Parker had her degree for about a year, and Izuku utterly loved her. She was a great assistant and an even better woman, and she was just a pleasure to be around. When he offered her the position at Oscorp under him, she leapt at it. May was a rather smart cookie, to the point where she was studying under Izuku when she was little over 14. Now, she only has the single doctorate. But she's officially a Dr. Parker by the age of 18. It's not quite July, so Izuku isn't 14 yet.
So, you'll talk to me now that your girlfriend's gone?
She's not my girlfriend. Venom won that round and made himself known visibly.
Hello there, Izuku. I am Venom. Do you require more proof that I am real? Didn't think so. There's no need to be so sad, Izuku. She belongs with us. She just doesn't know it yet. She clearly doesn't see you as a mere child. All it will take is time.
Venom noticed the paper Izuku was holding.
UA needs to get their heads out of their asses. Didn't a few students almost die in that attack?
I don't think I need to be clear here, but he's talking about the USJ. This is way in the future in comparison to Spider Deku. Specimen 2099 is still missing, and Deku obviously didn't get the bite. I think this is a good point to take a small break for the story as a main and give you some key differences. One of which differences would be that Izuku is not teaching in UA, and the Avengers have not been assembled. Izuku still saves Herman and ousts MODOK. He even still speaks with Tony, but there wasn't a catalyst to take her away from New York at the time. Maria and Katsuki are still a thing. Izuku merely made a means for the two to train, really. A very sad change is that Nick Fury has even less time to spend with his family. He'll still force some time for the important stuff, but other than that, he's a busy man. He even tried to get Izuku a job at S.H.I.E.L.D., but he and Fitz came to blows rather often on their approach to things, to the point where Izuku chose to stay within Oscorp.
His life was rather uneventful. Then he remembered something. The sludge villain attack. I blacked out after that and assumed I was saved by Uncle Toshinori. But he had no idea what I was talking about. Was that your doing? Yes and no.
I enveloped your body into me, but your body moved on pure reflex. You just seemed to absorb the thing. Your quirk is an odd one, Izuku.
Izuku noticed that Venom used the word quirk. Very funny, Venom. I'm quirkless. Venom laughs.
Is that what you think, kiddo? Trust me, you ain't quirkless. I've got a nasty little appetite that I haven't needed to sate in years. And you're to blame. Trust me on this. You have a quirk. Go test yourself and find out.
Izuku rolled his eyes, but decided to humor his little parasite.
Parasite? Take it back. I think of myself more as a symbiote.
So this is a mutual benefit? Izuku was wary of Venom after its reveal. Actually, what gender are you anyway?
If you're worried about something like that, yeah, I suppose you can use male identifiers or call me a they and it, whatever. I don't care about those things. I am whatever my host is, and you, quite frankly, are male, so if you want to refer to me as such, do so.
Izuku walks throughout Oscorp. He's given respectful greetings. He saw Herman and stopped for a bit. Hey, man, have you seen Mayday? Herman smirked a knowing smirk. No, boss, I haven't, but I'm sure she'll love what you have to tell her when you do. Izuku did a double take on that. I don't know what you're talking about, Herman. Herman chuckled. Yeah, sure you don't. And my nickname ain't the Shocker. Izuku made his way to his destination, his lab, and pricked his finger to get a blood sample so he could do an in-depth quirk test. The technology used to identify quirks has come a long way since he was deemed quirkless. But the odd part is, he didn't have that appendage, so he should by all means have a quirk. Mei and Ryo can be seen walking in when Izuku takes the test. Baby boy, don't get your hopes up, okay? All Izuku could do was smile. He was 80% certain that Venom was on the up and up. And 3 minutes later, it was revealed that he did, in fact, have a quirk. However, it seemed to have needed an outside force, i.e. Venom, to activate it. When Ryo saw that, she hugged her nephew. However, Izuku's reaction was a little different. When he got out of the hug, he walked up to Mei and kissed her. The age difference between the two is about 4 and some change to 5 years. So no one would bat an eye at that per se. Mei actually kissed back, but rather innocently, and that surprised Izuku. Huh. Took you long enough there, Tiger. Mei winks. But Ryo's looking a little, shocked, considering once again age difference.
And once again, consider Ryo is basically Deku's other mother.
So, what's your quirk? Izuku went on to reveal that his quirk was symbiosis, which allowed him to live in harmony with otherwise invasive species such as Venom, per se. His quirk was literally feeding Venom and keeping that appetite at bay. His quirk made him the perfect match for Venom. All fine and dandy, but you're not gonna try to be a hero with that quirk, are you?
Venom, should we tell them?
Having our own support could be a boon in the training department, but I've got memories and some abilities from my last host. You may know him as Spider-Man. He got rid of me rather violently when he discovered my needs and tendency to amplify aggression. I'm wary of her and their scientists, but if you think we should trust them, I shall.
Izuku chose to weigh on the side of caution and didn't tell them at the moment, but Venom would be quite busy fighting crime around Tokyo area. As far as what Venom got from Miles, the ability to stick to walls, and gave him partial cloaking. He didn't quite get the Venom Blast, which is odd. The attack on the USJ left All Might a little worse for wear, but he's in his prime since he has no wound from All for One. Bakugo and Maria managed to aid him in the battle, and that is how it ended with minimal loss. All Might, however, did get the tar beat out of him. Not to the exact point of the cannon, but it was an ass whipping all the same. The beating he got was quite the wake-up call for him. Perhaps it was time for him to pass the torch and find a successor, but not quite now. But enough of that for now. Let's get back to the minds of our two heroes. Deku stood alone on a rooftop, clad in dark clothing. Alright, Venom. Let's see what you can do.
You mean what we can do? We are Venom. Izuku, take a leap for that building and don't be a bitch. I've got us should we fail.
Alright, I got this.
I am Venom!
You heard that right. I said I, not we. They missed their mark, but Venom lashed out a tendril and Wall climbed up the building. After that first jump, it was second nature. They were doing well until a nearby church bell went off. When Venom started to hurt again, pun not intended, and I swear I spelled it H-U-R-T in the script, not H-E-R-T. Deku himself started to hurt as well. Nowhere near the point of Venom, but they were both falling quite fast, and it seemed to be a pain for Deku. Once the final bell had tolled, Venom pulled off a save at the last second and vaulted away from that tower. What the hell was that, Venom?
Sounds between 4 and 6 kilohertz. It can cause me, or I suppose now, us, harm. Fire is bad as well. I dare say that your quirk has permanently linked us. That sound should have caused me to writhe in agony and leave you, but I couldn't, for long at least. In this case, I suppose Lennon and McCartney had it right.
For any who don't know the Beatles, Venom is referring to the song I Am the Walrus, and the line he was hinting at is I am he, as you are he, as you are me. Deku listened to a lot of the oldies while he was building things. His best friend, Antoinette, got him started on that, and it stuck. Venom actually quite liked it, provided he didn't exceed his limit on sound department, that is. Once again, you've given me much to think on. Let's go home.
Or at least that was the plan before the duo known as Venom stood a mugger.
Just give me the money you got, old man, and there won't be any trouble. What? Did you think you were gonna get some?
A blade of bone protruded from the female's arm. She was about the age of about a third-year high school student or a college student. But that was beyond the point. This woman was attacking that old dude, and that wasn't going to fly.
Hold on, Izuku. This is going to feel weird for us.
Ever watched Spider-Man Unlimited? That's the kind of thing that's going to happen since... Remember the sludge attack? Venom ate that fool whole due to Izuku's quirk. Venom was a puddle of black goo that quickly traversed the wall and came behind the attacker.
Hey, lady. I think you should leave the old dude alone. And leave now yourself.
For effect, Venom gave a grin with his mouth wide open, with teeth in full display and tongue sticking out.
Unless, of course, you want to be on my menu, that is.
The old man got away, but the woman chose to attack Venom. She would be in for a very bad time. Remember that Deku mastered martial arts to compensate for his lack of a quirk? And let's not forget the addition of Venom to his arsenal. This was one-sided as a mother. Venom left her gooed up with a sign that read, "Hello, officers. I'm a mugger," on it. The next day, word of their work got out, and people thought some new hero was on the beat. Deku was having breakfast at Ryo's, so Toshinori is here as well. I was attacked by some brazen woman the other night. I thought she was gonna kill me. Then this guy with a quirk straight out of some horror flick saved me. I don't know if he's some kind of hero or vigilante, but whoever you are, thank you. The older gentleman bowed a 90-degree bow to show his honest thanks.
Hey, Toshinori. Have you heard of some upstart hero with a quirk like that?
Toshinori sighed. No. He's either a vigilante or a civilian that acted when he saw someone being mugged. Either way, I do not approve of it.
The Boy Scout doesn't approve of us. Oh, whatever shall we do?
I know Uncle Toshinori can be a bit of a hassle, but he means well. He's friggin' All Might after all.
Maybe so, but he's a hurdle in our way, isn't he?
We'll burn that bridge when we get there. Maybe I can muscle my way into UA. Some kid got hurt pretty bad in the USJ incident.
I don't think we should do that. Exposure means we could end up in a lab, or worse. Dead. Remember the church bell. That was my weakness, not yours.
But I still felt it. Perhaps our link, due to my quirk, is far stronger than we suspected. If they find out about you and harm you too much, I may feel the pain with you.
Exactly, Izuku. Think of all those movies and books.
Ryo noticed the look on Izuku's face.
Are you okay, honey?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just deep in thought. Sorry for worrying you. Izuku finished his breakfast and dipped. He wanted to take the rooftops, sleep and swing, but he couldn't risk that. His work will have to be done by night, not by day. The light of day. Toshinori could be the shining beacon the world needs,
but Venom may very well end up being the boogeyman the bad people in the world need to fear. The sports festival comes and goes with the same result, only he felt good about his W this time around. Time goes by and we're at the internships. But this time, there is no Deku. Meeting Tenya is in for some serious trouble. Tenya still stays Stain, and without a Deku to rally the troops, he's on his own. Or he would be if Venom wasn't in the area doing the exact same thing. When he noticed Tenya eat, Venom put a small piece of himself on his back to track him. Our heroes figured that the hero killer would find his way to them. Natives seemed to be a good fit for an eventual target, and Izuku didn't want to see a friend of Maria's get caught in the crossfire. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. Get out of the way, boy. I'm here for this fake. Tenya answers verbatim to canon. Revenge, huh? If you're in my way, I'll have to cut you down as well. You'd think the pair known as Venom would stop this, but Izuku got blasted by a fire truck siren, and that froze them both in pain for a good few minutes. Once they recover from that, they're on their way to where they sense the small piece of them. They arrive on the scene to see a dead native and Tenya Ida bleeding out with Stain hovering over him. It didn't have to be this way, kid.
No, it didn't. You murderer. He's just a kid. You think you're strong beating up on children? Come at us, and we'll show you. You are small.
Izuku is using plurals now due to his, and therefore Venom's, emotional state. Pitch black suit of like substance with a giant spider on them and a villainous looking eyes and mouth. You must be that vigilante I've been hearing about on the news. Inkling, was it what they called you? You do good work. I have no quarrel with you. Venom was still mad.
Our name is not Inkling. We are Venom!
Stain tried to leave, but Venom shot a tendril at him.
You go nowhere, murderer, other than a jail cell.
Stain gave Venom something that they hadn't been given since a true fight. Izuku managed to calm down when he noticed Stain was holding his own. This fight was lasting too long. Tenya was going to die if he didn't end this.
Izuku, I won't make you a killer. You must decide what we do.
Izuku put a lot of thought into this, but realized that it had to be done. Izuku took control and fought Stain with a calmer head. Try as he might, this was going on far too long. Stain was enjoying the fight, but he had to cut and get out now. Stain's blade connected with Venom, and he licked it. Little did he know that that wasn't blood. Blood curdle isn't going to work on Venom, even if it was. Two minds in one and whatnot. However, Stain had touched a small part of Venom that was a bad idea. I mean, ingesting that? Venom smiled the biggest smile. They had won. Stain flinched for a moment, and that was all Venom needed to make his move. Venom's tendril went right through Stain's open mouth, and Izuku had killed the man. He came to terms with that when the adrenaline that Venom was literally forcing in his veins ran out. But for now, Tenya needed a hospital. As Venom makes his way to grab Tenya,
Shoto arrives on scene. Can you say misunderstanding? Venom got out of there before Shoto even had a chance to use his quirk. He is long beyond troubled with his fireside and would have used it to mess Venom up. Venom managed to run to a nearby restroom and change into clothes. Remember, the symbiote can mimic clothing. Shoto Todoroki ran in after cauterizing Tenu's wound. He was out of danger of death, but he had lost a lot of blood. Shoto made a phone call and then broke every stall door down and was confronted with Izuku Midoriya. May I help you, pal? I'm trying to take care of business here. Shoto recognized the quirkless wonder, apologized, and left in search of Venom. If only you knew. The newspapers would read, Inkling shows true colors. Venom would take the blame for a murder and an attempted murder that he did not commit.
I don't know how I feel about the name Inkling.
Really? We're worried about a name? How about the fact that they think we're a murderer?
Venom was silent on that one. The hero community is now on the warpath as far as Venom is concerned, and the one person who can prove their innocence in this matter is currently comatose. The look on Miles' face when he saw Venom was priceless. More time goes by and Izuku gets a call from his dad way later than Spider Deku did.
So Father is calling us, is he? He probably needs your brain power to solve something.
Deku made his way to the Tokyo Tower to meet with Maria. However, this time he would get up there like a normal person, or at least that was the plan until Venom noticed a silhouette scaling a tower. Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Venom went into rage.
What's wrong, Venom?
I just saw my ex-boyfriend. Give me a minute to make him pay for hurting me. Okay?
Alright. Let's thank him for introducing us to each other.
Venom got the drop on Spider-Man. Miles Morales, remember me? All I wanted was to be with you, and you hurt me. I should thank you, though, since I found my perfect host because you so violently harmed me. Miles tried to hit Venom with the Venom Blast, but since they were bonded at one point, it had no effect. Huh. So I'm immune to the Venom Blast. Good to know. One sonic blast from Maria Hill was enough to take down Venom. However, Maria heard a scream she recognized as the sound continued to cause harm to Venom. Izuku took the bulk of it. Izuku! Baby boy! Maria ran to comfort her godson. Miles picked up Izuku and they entered the base. When Izuku woke up, he found himself in a cage made to contain him. No, them. No gooping away for them, that is. Simmons. Is there any way we can remove this parasite from my son? Izuku got mad at that word. Do not use that word. We prefer the term symbiote. And don't bother, Gemma. Venom and I are a permanent thing. My quirk fused us. When I hurt, he hurts. When he hurts, I hurt. And Spider-Man, we both hate your guts. Dad, I swear on Mom's name that I only ended one life that night, and it was the hero killer. He forced my hand. I harmed no one that didn't deserve it. Relax, everyone. Inko is not dead. Fury took one look at his son with his good eye. He's telling the truth. Let him out.
Good thing we have a mind-reading father.
You know full well he doesn't read minds, he reads auras.
That's essentially the same thing, Izuku.
Nice quirk to have for his line of work, right? Interrogations made easy, I suppose. Miles didn't trust anything to do with Venom, but Fury had given Izuku a clean bill. Welcome to S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Venom.
Trouble is brewing, and I'm gonna need you to be my man on the inside.
Nick felt useless most of Deku's life, but now he had something that he could do for him. But would it really help? The Deku we know and love wakes up in bed next to Tony. What's wrong, babe? Tony asked in all concern. Had an odd dream. Deku explains what he saw, and as much as it pained her, she suggested going to see Doctor Strange. He explained that it wasn't a dream. He was somehow peering into a parallel dimension. Many sorcerers had spent their lives attempting to do this, but he did it without trying. So, alternate realities existed. That was something to look into for later. If you liked that, let's get a United States to smash on that like button. If you're not subscribed, consider going full cowling with that subscribe button. And let's go plus ultra with the notifications. Ring that bell, baby. Rest easy, Deadites. And remember, the night is ours.